Hi team, welcome to my session on Coffee with Prab, and today we're going to discuss about what is PKI, Public Key Infrastructure. It is a very important topic today in network security, very important when you're preparing for any certification exam. There's a lot of content is already around PKI, but no one talk about why we need a PKI. What is the reason this PKI was introduced? What is the limitation it's addressed by the PKI? So PKI stands for Public Key Infrastructure. My name is Prab, and for more information, you can check my LinkedIn profile. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss the future videos on a similar topic. So without wasting a time, let's start with the first part. Thank you. Okay, so what is PKI? PKI stands for Public Key Infrastructure. Before I start with the PKI, I highly recommend to check the video in the description which is talking about symmetric and asymmetric encryption, because it is very important for you to understand. So I'm skipping the symmetric encryption. I will first cover the asymmetric, because from this diagram you will get to know why PKI was introduced. See, when we're talking about asymmetric encryption, so we have a system A, we have a system B. So in asymmetric encryption we have a two keys, public key and private key. So A has a public key and private key. B has a public key and private key. Now if A want to send data, so this is my data encrypt with the session key, data encrypted with the session key, and we send the encrypted data to B. Now when B receive the encrypted data, okay, definitely he need a session key. So here what happened, B sending his public key. So A apply a B public key to encrypt the session key and send the encrypted session key, and B use the private key to decrypt the session key, and then session key used to decrypt the data. So this is how asymmetric work. Now here the challenge here is, let me take the diagram example. So here the challenge is, if there is a hacker. Now listen this carefully, okay? Here is a hacker. Hacker hijack the session. So when B sending his public key, attacker hijack that and he send his public key to A. So A was an impression, the key coming from B. Because there is no centralized verification, identity and all that. We are sending everything on the internet. So B, when he's sending a public key, he hijacked the session and he sent his public key to A. So A was an impression, this is the public key of B, but reality it is a public key of hacker. And with the help of that key, he encrypted the session key. And he sent back that session key. So hacker hacked that, he got the encrypted session key. As it is encrypted by his public key, he will use his private key to decrypt the session key, and further session data whatever it sent by encrypting with decrypting, it was get decrypted by the same session key. So that is the reason we introduced the PKI concept. So now what happened is, we have a client A, okay, we have a system B, and here we introducing one more server which is called as a PKI server, public key authority server, which is called as a CA, certificate authority. Now listen this carefully. So now B send his public key to CA, public key B, and CA will generate one certificate. So public key is add in a certificate. So right now time is suppose 2:15. At 2:15 this certificate was generate. Okay, so this is basically called as a hash value. It gives the assurance about the integrity of a certificate at 2:15. When certificate was with me, this is the current state of data. And this certificate hash generated by me, it is encrypted with the CA private key, which add the signature. And CA basically send back the certificate with signature to B. Now same process, A generate the session key. The session key encrypt with the data and send encrypted data to B. Now B need a session key, because then only he can able to decrypt. So B this time send a certificate. instead of sending a flat public key. So he sent a certificate. So now what happened? A maintain the public key of his trusted CA. So when he download the certificate, he first verify the signature of the certificate with the public key of CA. Or we maintain the public key of CA. If signature is verified, then only from the certificate he will extract the public key of B, and then he use the public key of B to encrypt the session key. So only thing we introduce here is extra independent server, a third party server, because A trusts CA, B trusts CA. So let's take one very layman example. You have a information security knowledge. I have a information security knowledge. Okay. Now you are looking for a CISSP training, or you're looking for the CompTIA Security Plus training. The first factor based on which you evaluate me whether I have a certification. So between you and me, the trusted body is CompTIA or ISC Square or IC2 or ISACA. So I meet the criteria. So here the CA is the IC2. So I meet the criteria. I gain the knowledge. I obtain the certificate. Now if you are looking for the training, I will provide you my certificate which build the trust, and then you will assure whatever the data I'm sending you, it is accurate. So to authenticate this public key that it is coming from right source, we involve the certificate authority. And this is basically part of one infrastructure which is called as a PKI, public key infrastructure. So public key infrastructure used to create, manage, distribute, use, store and revoke the certificate. And it play a very important role in securing the communication, ensuring the integrity and authenticity of the data. Okay, so we are using certificate for multiple reasons. Like certificate used to encrypt the communication. So we're taking the same SSL example now. So we have a system A, which is a client. Okay, this is your website. Let's take example, this website is Gmail. Okay. Now client first time when he type https gmail.com, he send the request to Gmail. Request for access. Gmail will send his certificate. The certificate has a public key of Gmail. A download the certificate which has a signature. So first he verify the signature with the public key of the CA, because here we have a CA which issue the certificate to Gmail. If it verifies successfully, then only from the certificate he will extract the public key of Gmail. So client here does not have any key. So client will generate one key which is called as a session key, and the session key encrypt with the public key of Gmail, and it send it to the Gmail. Gmail basically use his private key to verify the signature. Private key to decrypt the signature, and you get the session key. So now whatever the communication happen, it is happen through that process only. This is the example of SSL. Okay, because otherwise what happen, you randomly trust any website, share the informations and all that. So here between A and B, there's a trusted CA we have, which is called a certificate authority. So let me explain you with the diagram. So here you can see, if I basically go to the connection secure, certificate is valid. Here you can see the certificate. Common name is WR2. I go to detail. Now here you can see the version is 3, serial number, certificate signature. So normally we generating a hash. Here they use a SHA. Issuer is the Google Trust. Okay. So 37, not after. Now here the most important part is this one, subject public key. See, when we talking Google homepage, they're running on ECC. Okay. And certificate subject public key is this. You can see that. So this is our signature part. Signature algorithm, they use RSA, and this is the signature value. So that is how that works. Okay. So our server, our browser maintain the public keys of the trusted certificate authorities. So here between me and Gmail, we have a trusted CA by which we can trust. So then only I can share information with the Gmail. Now in this scenario, if you can notice here is, we are using a certificate for multiple reasons. We are using certificate for encryption. As you can see, HTTPS we are using. It is used for authentication. Nowadays what happens, instead of sending a password to the server authentication, we send the certificate. So your company laptop has a predefined certificate. That's why when you connect to the company Wi-Fi or connecting VPN, it automatically use your stored certificate for authentication, because certificate is act like a password also. Third, it has a signature which ensure it is coming from a trusted CA. Now no one can able to hijack the certificate, because if someone hijack the certificate, they need a CA private key to sign it again. If someone compromises the CA private key, then accountability is compromised. That's a different story. Understood? So when we're talking about certificate has a standard. Okay, the standard is called as a ITU X.509. So it's a primary standard for a digital certificate within a PKI. And it defines the structure, format, and use of a certificate across a wide range of applications like SSL, TLS, and all that. We involve certificate in that case when we are communicating with a third party. Now, when we're talking about PKI, in PKI we have a two type of servers. One is called CA and one is called RA. So let's take an example. This is basically called as a CA, and this is called as a RA. So RA was introduced to offload the work of CA. So suppose let's take an example, this is a web server. So web server want a certificate so that the client can communicate. So web server send all this information to RA. RA will collect, verify all the information, and then they pass the information to CA. Ultimately, CA is the one who issue the certificate. For any example, let me explain with the example. You are a candidate. You want to write CompTIA exam, but you will go to Pearson VUE. So Pearson VUE, where you basically provide your information, does the physical verifications and all that, and where you write the exam. But ultimately, it is a CompTIA who certified you as a CISS or Security Plus. Or you go to Pearson VUE for CISSP exam. So you provide all the physical document, everything to the Pearson VUE. But ultimately, it is a CompTIA or IC2 is the one who issue and revoke the certificate. Same thing happened in PKI. In PKI, we have two servers: Certificate Authority Server, which is responsible for issuing, revoking, and managing a certificate, and it verify the identity of requesting certificate and signing them using a private key. And CA are the central to trust model PKI because it ensures that public key associated with the entities such as user, device, application are trustworthy. But to offload the work, because I don't want all the requests go to CA, so we introduce the next concept which is called as a RA. Now RA act like an intermediary between the user and CA, and it is responsible for accepting a request for certificate authentications and forward to approve the request to CA. And RA was introduced to offload the process of CA. That is the process we have. So let's understand the step-by-step process how the certificate works. So first step is to obtain the certificate. So as we discussed already, this is my client and this is my web server. Okay, so what web server need is everyone should trust web server. Okay, everyone should trust web server. So web server need to obtain the certificate. So first step is enrollment. So to obtain certificate, you prove your public key to the CA. Okay, and this process called as enrollment. Now when you receiving a certificate, you verify it by checking a CA signature. So here CS issue the certificate, then he provide the certificate to the client. The client maintaining a public keys of the trusted CA. So when they receive a certificate, in the certificate we have a signature. So signature is verified with the help of public key of CA. So if the signature verify, then only we extract the public key. Now second thing, in the certificate we check the revocation status. This is the very important part. Revocation status, because sometimes what happen, the certificate we consume, it is a revoked. Okay, so always remember in the information security we never accept a revoked certificate. It is same like you're looking for the CISSP training or CompTIA Security Plus training from me. My certificate is basically revoked by the IC2 or CompTIA in the year of 2023. So you will not trust me. See, knowledge is different and attestation is different. So one simple principle rule is that when we receive any certificate, we first check the certificate valid. It is same like you're riding a bike and suddenly police or cop has stopped you and asking you for a license before doing any kind of a communication. So license will basically give the information primarily whether it is revoked or valid. Now question is how they check. So there is a two way to check whether certificate is valid or revoked or not. One is called as a CRL process. In my further slide we discuss. CRL stand for certification revocation list. So as a system, we maintain the list of certificate which is expired. We maintain the serial number of the certificate which is revoked, not expire, revoked. When we revoke any certificate, we give the number to that. Revoke can be happen for multiple reasons. So we maintain the list of certificate which is revoked. So when a server send a certificate, we check the certificate number in that offline list. And that list is called as certificate revocation list. If the number in the list, I will not accept that certificate. It is same like I'm giving you the currency which is already revoked by the government. But it is a time consuming task. It is same like I shown my driving license to the police, and police called to the transport department dictating my number and manually they're checking in the files. On the other side, we have a second process which is called as a OCSP. In the OCSP, what happens is when we sending a certificate to the client, immediately online they check the certificate. Same like, police has stopped, ask for the driving license number. So I enter the number in the app and immediately I got an alert. So if you get a question, whether it's a security plus or CISSP or SSCPs, what is the primary objective OCSP? So OCSP is faster because it do the revocation check in the online phase. Challenge with the CRL, on a regular basis, we have to download the list of revoked certificate, which is a time consuming activity. Okay. So latency issues there when it comes to the CRL. Now here, the certificate is revoked for a multiple reason. When certificate was compromised, so CA will issue the revoked certificate. When it is errorly issues or there's a subject got changed, the websites gmail.com, it moved to gmail.co. So they have to change the certificate or change in a security association. So these are the multiple reasons we have because of which the certificate we revoke. See, expire is not revoke. Because of expire, we revoke. Understood? So these are the 4 conditions we have in which we revoke the certificate. The first, the compromise certificate, like someone has compromised and they start using resending. So like let's say example, someone has took my certificate, edit my name to his name and start circulating everywhere. So I request the IC to issue me the new certificate number, or errorly issued, not associated with the random numbers, or change in the certificate, it will be change the subject name, gmail.co, or the entire entity got changed. So these are the multiple reasons we have because of which we revoke the certificate. And expiration is also another reason to revoke. Now we have a different type of certificate standard. The first standard is called as a PKCS, Public Key Cryptography Standard. So this is something used in a laboratories, okay, for the certificate management, like RSA laboratories use. Second is called as a PIV certificate, Personal Identity Verification. It is a standard used by the US government for the smart cards. And third is called as a CVC, Card Verifier Certificate. It's a standard which is used in the European Union for certificate on smart cards, particularly for e-passports. So the certificate is not only about in CISSP. So certificate is used in the information security and physical security also. Now, as I said, revocation status, the first is called as a CRL. So CRL maintain the list of certificate which has been revoked by the CA. And reason for the revocation might include compromise of the private key. Okay. And CRL is used by the entities to verify the status certificate. If certificate is listed on the CRL, it is considered invalid. Okay. So we will not go for the things. Let's say example, a company have an internal PKI and they maintain the CRL to manage the revocation certificate, those who are leaving the company. So that is how we basically maintain the CRL. But on the other side, when we say OCSP is certificate obtain revocation status of the digital server in real time. So any question talking about digital real time and all that, answer is OCSP. And it allows entity to query a CA directly on the function. That's why it is faster than the CRL. Okay. So OCSP provide more efficient and timely method for checking the status, and required the connection between the client and server should be secure. So when you visit a secure website, your browser might use OCSP to check if the website certificate is valid or not. Okay, so this is the process we have. So OCSP is the online process, immediately check. CRL is the offline process. Okay, so let's understand whether you understood this topic or not with some questions which give you the idea. Okay, so let's start with some coffee questions. So first question, what is the primary objective of the PKI? Option A, encrypt the address. It's not necessary. We can use encrypt in transit also, but that is not a primary rule. Second is facilitate secure communication, authentication over the network, which makes sense. Store user credentials securely, but that is something we can achieve with the help of encryption. Manage distribute software update. That is also one of the requirement, but the biggest is basically called as a B. By end of the day, it is help you to build the trust party communication, authentications and all that. So let's move to the next question. What is the primary usage of OCSP? Generate a certificate? No. Encrypt the communication between the client server? No. Check the real-time revocation status certificate? Makes sense. Store public key in security? We store private key, not a public key. So answer is basically C for Charlie. Check the real-time certificate. Okay. Third question, what is the primary usage of CRL? Distribute the public keys? No. List certificate have been revoked before expiration date? Makes sense. Manage the issue of the certificate? No. Or encrypt the communication? Again, that is for the session key and all that. So answer is basically B for beta. So let's understand with the scenario based questions. Okay. Your organization has implemented the PKI to secure the email communication among the employees. The PKI is configured to issue a certificate to each employee. The organization security policy required sensitive emails must be encrypted and digitally signed before being sent. Okay, fine. Recently, the employee reported they receive a digitally signed email from the colleagues. Okay, but when they check the certificate, they notice that it has been revoked. So what should be the employee do in response to receive the email with revoked certificate? What does this indicate about the PKI? So option A, ignore the certificate status. This indicates that PKI is only used for encryption, not for authentication. Report the incident to the IT security team. Definitely this indicates that PKI is being used to ensure both encryptions and authentication. Revoked certificate may indicate potential security breach. Option C is reply the email, ask the sender to resend the email with a new certificate. This indicates PKI has been used as a primary for encryption and revocation of the certificate, which is not a crucial for authentication process. And delete the email immediately, as revoked certificate mean email is automatically malicious. See, this indicates misunderstanding of PKI. A certificate revocation alone does not mean the email is malicious. Okay, so answer is, as a practitioner, my role is to report only. In this scenario, employer should report the incident to the IT security team because the use of a revoked certificate indicate the certificate should no longer be trusted. And this could, I repeat, this could be due to the number of reasons. It can be certificate being compromised or employee leaving the organization. So this is all from my side. Do let me know how do you find this video, and do let me know, does it meet your goal? Does it help you to clear your doubt regarding a PKI? So this is all from my side. And if you're new to the channel, do subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss my future videos on a similar topic. Good day. Bye.